Good morning, folks. This is Rob Burke with WuVille live over in Roslindale, and we're returning to the alleged scene of the crime. Welcome to WuVille. This is Rob Burke, and I'm going to hand it over to Catherine Vitale.
Good morning. We are back on Augustus Ave today. Getting hit by the sprinklers at the corner. What's that in your hand, Rob?
Well, we got we have the Boston Herald with a picture of number 45. We're getting rained on by the neighbors here, so this is another thing we have to deal with here. Okay, and what it is the article by Howie Carr saying, "Since when is free speech a crime? How apropos."
How fitting for free First Amendment Friday.
We're right down by the mayor.
She's out of town.
And don't get it confused with the Fast Eddie Flynn, who's taking the slot here for about 10 days. But so today we're going to just talk. We have a couple things. So if you can see this, we're just working. To the right of us, we're getting rained by the sprinklers. So bear with us. So, anyways, folks, we're back in an area that we had come to know very well for many months, due to the action by the mayor by moving her office to her house during the fake CCP emergency. So, Catherine,
here's what happened.
Go ahead, bring it up.
So, this November 2021, Michelle Wu gets into office. Okay, December 2021. She is set to have a press mandates for all city workers. She's going to take away their COVID testing option and force them to either get the jab or not have a job. Both cameras are on me. So, and protests at her press conference. Oh, they're doing this on purpose. So about 200 of us go and protest her press conference. December 21st or 20th, 2021. And then another group had planned some big rally to happen in front of City Hall on January 5th, 2022. So January 3rd, they're claiming, Ed Flynn claims a spike in COVID cases at City Hall, and they need to close down City Hall for the next 2 weeks. Right? 2 days before this big rally is supposed to take place. So because they closed City Hall, we came and protested at Michelle Wu's house, which is right down the street from where we are now.
Now, Catherine, when the people came here or from City Hall, you really didn't know each other very well, did you? Whoever got involved?
No, none of us knew each other.
So when you came here the first time, I know that I shot a lot of video at the original on December 20th, and then eventually you migrated to here, and there was nothing going on. There were no laws, no ordinances, no anything.
So what we did was we came out at 7 a.m. because Boston's noise ordinance is 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So you technically are not supposed to start making noise until 7 a.m., right? If we had a building permit, we would be allowed to start work at 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So we came at 7 a.m. and we made some noise. We were here, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, if that. There's the first lie by the media and City Hall was that we were here every day. We were never here every day. And we had a very good reason for coming to her house in the first place. The reason was because they closed City Hall for 2 weeks.
Let's get things straight with the fake news. WBUR was here. WBZ was here. They ended up around, that was around January. Globe, that was the lady taking the license plate number from Pravda. That started on January 26th.
Yeah.
Okay. So January 26th.
So their first tactic was to ignore us.
That's it. The
They
old
tried to
Gandhi.
act like it wasn't happening.
Gandhi was here. Gandhi.
So, we protested a couple times a week in front of her house. She walked by us every single day. We were never threatening, never intimidating. Oh, let me click on the.
Yeah, we get the chat going. Hey, by the way, look at the right down below. Make sure you get those calls in. We'd like to take a phone call or go online on the social. Come on and send us a little doodad so we can clarify anything, because there are so many half truth, no truth, lies, just big lies.
So we were here a couple times a week.
Wow.
Never threatening, never intimidating. We have almost every single second of every single protest on video. We streamed live most of the time. And then like late February, when they couldn't do much more to make us look bad, because they were already calling us racist and misogynist and anti-LGBTQ and everything else, which is funny because there were Black people and Asian people also protesting, and gay people also protesting in front of our house. So I don't know how we could possibly be any of those things. So once they couldn't really do anything else to make us look bad, Michelle Wu proposes this city ordinance to essentially ban protesting in front of her house, but the actual wording was that it was a targeted residential picketing. And they had a public hearing over it. They had a working session over it with the lawyers and the police. They had at one point
bring in the list
early on.
Bring in the list.
The police station, the mayor actually like petitioned the people in her neighborhood to go have a meeting at the police station, where her 97-year-old vet neighbor said that he wanted to shoot us.
Oh yeah.
And
got that in video.
Yeah, and nobody cared. Nobody cared about that. That was pretty intimidating, if you ask me.
Criminalizing free speech. Criminalizing free speech.
So they end up passing this ordinance, even though the majority of people in the public hearing were opposed to it. Even people on their side came to oppose it because they could see the unintended consequences that it would have on anybody if they ever wanted to enforce it.
You know what the funny thing was? The funny thing was the Boston police allowed us to go on their property at Morton Street and Blue Hill.
December 23rd.
They used us because they were still up in the air where they were going.
Yeah.
Wu had come down to the police station and did their speech down there. And then someone recorded whatever they did, but that was amazing. We were doing the police's dirty work. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, we were advocating for the police. And then the police turn around and are doing her dirty work.
And we're still sort of
we were doing their dirty work, and then they turn around to do her dirty work.
so we're on top of a few things, just so you know. I don't want to go off track, but in the meantime, we're on track. I'm going through City Hall right now on my FOIA. And I want to thank Sean Williams. Sean, if you're listening, make sure you get those documents, because as you told me the other day that you're on top of that and you are the one that wrote the law. So I'm waiting for Sean to give me the documents of anything with my name, Robert Burke from the Boston City Hall.
How many days has it been since?
Well, we're over 12. I had called him, and because he had left me a message say, we need to clarify something. I said, no, we don't need to clarify something. The only thing I want to do is dates. From this date to that date, every time a name was said, I want that document. And I called him the other day. So this is good. So anyways, now we're going forward. We are here. Now it's late January.
So late February was when they ran out of ways to make us look bad. A whole bunch of elected officials of color, Ayanna Pressley, Michelle Wu, Ed Flynn, I think Kevin Hayden, a whole bunch of people signed this letter condemning our protests because they were hateful and racist.
Yeah.
And then, which is interesting that the DA signed a letter saying that he condemned our protests and that there was something that they would go to great measures to DA, right? Oh, it was Kevin Hayden.
Kevin Hayden.
It was before he was elected, though. He was just acting. So late February, they have all the processes for passing this ordinance. the end of March, they passed the ordinance. It was a 9-4 vote by the city council. And it becomes a real thing that you cannot am or after 9 p.m.
WuVille Protection Act 1663.
The WuVille Protection Act, exactly. But the thing is that most people think that it's about noise. They're like, yeah, well, I wouldn't want you in front of my house at 7 a.m. screaming anyway, and banging buckets and blowing whistles and cowbells and all that. But it's not about noise. There's nothing about noise in the ordinance. So just standing out in front of her house doing this show, they would threaten us with arrest, which is why we're not in front of her house right now. We're down the street.
Down the street, down the hill.
But so that's the thing, is that you can't to protest according to this ordinance, because so once the ordinance passes, April 1st was the first day, ironically.
Oh yeah, April 1st is matter of fact, that was the first time, April 1st, that they actually executed a document which was the only hard copy of the WuVille Protection Act, and it was given to me.
Right, but that's because you requested it.
I asked, I said,
because the ordinance is supposed to be punishable by a fine. Okay, you're supposed to get a citation. It's not a criminal offense. So Rob says, all right, let's get this out of the way. I want the first citation. So they like almost reluctantly write him a citation. And that was the only citation ever written. Nobody else ever got a fine.
Which for me, the sergeant that wrote the ticket, the first was our original Woke in WuVille episode, when the sergeant comes up to me, he goes, they all knew our names now. This is the other thing. They all knew our names. So they said, Mr. Burke, we're going to be doing things differently today. And I said, yeah, we're going live. Do you want to come on? And he just turned around and walked away. But going back to the process, on April 1st, right around that time, we had also introduced, right around there was the North End table tax, the Michelle Wu table tax. The North End was just coming into play because on the 4th, we had the table people here, and
no, they were here in March.
Okay, but April 4th was the second one, because that's the second ordinance thing that I had from the police.
We
but
had
go ahead.
Cupcakes that day.
Cupcakes. That was my birthday. Yeah,
so the North End had protested in front of her house, the North End restaurant owners, in March, sometime in March, before the ordinance passed. And then, so 8 people had gotten summons. So there were no citations given, but I don't know how the police got their addresses and their information. But they must have run the people's plates out here, which is absolutely ridiculous because nobody's committing a crime here. So they apparently ran people's plates and sent them summonses in the mail to appear at a clerk magistrate's hearing at West Roxbury Court. 8 people. So the clerk magistrate's hearings happened April 14th and 15th. They were all dismissed.
That's what we call ourselves, the Rosie 5. Because the second crew, the other 3 hadn't been adjudicated yet.
Yeah. So then I ended up getting arrested April 12th at City Hall, I believe. And then Shannon was the first to be arrested.
But let me go back to April 12th. The reason you got arrested on April 12th is because they told you couldn't protest here anymore and go to City Hall and protest.
So I went to City Hall to protest. I blew a whistle and they put me in cuffs.
Stop blowing the whistle. Stop blowing the whistle.
You can't put a whistle in here. So April 25th, Shannon gets arrested protesting in front of Michelle Wu's house. And they actually charge her with 72, Section 59, I think it is, which is willful violation of a city ordinance, and not listening to the cops. That's like the reason
we
for
have
that
this, we have,
ordinance.
just so you know, we have the sprinkler going 5 feet, but it's not quite getting us. But that's what the sprinkler
They're
is.
trying hard to rain on our show here. Oh, here it comes.
No, not yet, not
Almost.
yet, not so fast, Mr. Sayeto.
So she gets arrested for willful violation of an ordinance.
There you go. We got a lamp.
And,
We're on a hill, by the way, folks. We're going to like a 40-degree hill here.
And the judge looks completely confused and baffled as to why this woman is standing in front of her in handcuffs that day. Remember?
Yes.
And tries to dismiss the case right then and there because she doesn't want to deal with it because she can see that this is a wrongful arrest. It shouldn't have happened. So instead of letting the judge dismiss it, we move forward to, so that Shannon could speak to her lawyer and actually come to some kind of understanding of why this even happened. So,
but go back to see, even when they started threatening us with the citation, the police couldn't explain what it was.
right, the police know that this is wrong.
Yeah, they couldn't explain
They don't
it.
even want to be doing this. You can see it in their faces, but they have no other choices because they have to follow orders, right? So in June, that's when Shannon's case ends up getting dismissed, and Judge Key calls it, actually says on record that it was an unlawful arrest and a wrongful arrest, and it shouldn't have happened, and apologizes to her for having to go through.
So when is that date?
arrested.
When did that approximately when was that date? When the wheels started rolling about this whole thing? When did that really?
When the wheels started rolling.
Yeah, when you had to go to court regarding being arrested. When exactly did that happen?
She got arrested April 25th,
What year?
2022.
Okay, so this is going on. This has been going on with you girls for how long? The cases. You go to court, you get it. You're not ready to go. So you go to the next court, you're not ready to go.
Right.
How long?
So it took then after that case was dismissed, when we were under the impression now that nobody was going to get arrested, because we did ask the judge. Somebody in the courtroom asked the judge, if we go back to protest at the mayor's house, should we expect to be arrested? The judge said no. Okay. So again, we come back on June 29th to protest at the mayor's house, thinking that we're going to get a fine because that's how the ordinance is set up. And
is it like drinking in public, or what is it? A ticket, a parking ticket, or what exactly is this supposed to happen? What kind of a fine is it? Something.
It's just a fine. It's a $50 fine. And there's a tier process for the first offense. You get $50 fine. Second offense is $150, and third and subsequent.
It's the Wheel of Fortune.
It's $300.
It's the Wheel of Fortune.
They literally tell you that you're allowed to get cited for this multiple times.
Yeah.
So charging her with willful violation of a city ordinance makes no sense. They tell you in the ordinance that you're allowed to get in trouble for this multiple times.
So here we are today. And so after we've gone through all these, jumped through all these hoops.
No, June 29th is when 4 of us got arrested.
Up here.
Yeah. So this is what we're still dealing with now.
With the dresses on.
Yeah.
The dresses on.
So June 29th, 4 of us got arrested.
Now let me just give you a couple things, folks. Paddy wagons, shackles.
No shackles for me.
Did Shannon have shackles?
Or Shannon.
Okay. Handcuffs.
Handcuffs, yeah.
Handcuffs in the holding.
Shackles for the other girls.
Who got the shackles?
Danielle and Marie, because they didn't stand their ground.
They get shackled. I mean, in dresses with shackles on.
Yeah,
it's a new fashion.
Yeah. So, in the midst of everything, we protest the mayor at the Dorchester Day Parade.
Yeah.
June 5th, 2022. Or what? Maybe a dozen of us, if that, right? Megaphones and a banner, a medical freedom banner. So for like 2 miles of the Dorchester Day Parade, which is over 3 miles long, which don't forget that there were people at the beginning of the parade also protesting her, Joe DePina, Michelle Effendi, other people at the beginning of the parade that weren't with us. So she was getting protested other than our little group that was there.
No violence.
No violence, except when the priest attacked three
Yeah.
of the protesters.
You see the priest
Father Conway.
attacking the drummer.
And the police were riding up on their bicycles, trying to knock me down, hitting me in the shin with their bicycle
Political
wheel.
police. And
So the only violence actually came from Michelle Wu's team. And then you had the EMS chief, James Hooley, taking pictures of people's children because he says because he's a mandated reporter. So he was contemplating reporting the mothers with their children in the parade
in carriages.
to Child Protective Services.
Covered.
Yeah.
Covered in a carriage.
Yeah.
He's a little creepy, isn't he?
And because there's speculation about what actually happened at the Dorchester Day Parade, because only one publication actually, which is the Dorchester Reporter, and I don't even know
Bill.
Thanks, I don't even know that Bill Forey even saw us when we were protesting.
We'll wait for Bill to show up with the information.
Who claims that we were harassing and physically intimidating the mayor. I'd like to object because we were actually being harassed and physically intimidated by EMS Chief Hooley, the Boston Police on the bicycles, Father Conway, and Connor Pewarski, the mayor's husband.
That's who? That him?
No. He's out of town.
He put some weight
but
on.
he was trying to intimidate us at the parade. He was
smirking.
walking up to women saying, "Oh, hi," using our names, which he's done this a couple of times. He's addressed us by first name and tells the woman, "Oh, hey, so-and-so, go back to town of residence."
Yeah.
Which is intimidating when a man comes up to you, like letting you know, I know your name and I know where you live.
Well, no, it's terrible. His father hates Michelle Wu too. I mean, whatever. Mr. Wu hates Mr. Wu hates Michelle Wu.
So, the Dorchester Day Parade happened on June 5th, 2022. And then June 10th, 2022, an interesting thing happened that has been in the recent news. This is when a list of 15 names, including us, this is number 1 on the list, and this is number 2 on the list.
We're number 1.
A list of 15 names was sent from the mayor's office to the Boston Police, and that was on June 10th, 2022. We didn't know about it until months later when it came up in a public records request during some litigation. But the people on this list are all law-abiding citizens. Why would they be compiling our names? Why would they be gathering intel? And who is paying the mayor's office to do research on constituents? Like, is that their job? Are they detectives now?
So anyways, we get that rolling in the paper. It made international news. Miss Vitale was on the what British paper? What were you on?
It was the Daily Mail, and we were in some Russian paper too.
Russian paper.
So they put out the list.
The Russians are coming.
And within 5 days of the list going out, I get assaulted and robbed by a Boston police officer, the same Boston police officer who the list was emailed to.
That's right, over in Charlestown.
Yeah, Robert Chicolo.
Yeah.
If that's how you say his name.
At the time, he was a captain, right?
At the time, he was a captain, and now he's superintendent. Since then.
A political appointment.
Because the police and the public officials who deal with us get promoted or get raises shortly after they deal with us. So that was 5 days after the... Oh, there it goes.
We got a
so
lot of wind going.
5 days after the list.
We got rain. Don't worry.
And then 12 days after the list went out, Sean Nelson, who's also on the list right now, Sean at Mayor Wu's Coffee Hour. And then June 29th, here on Augustus Ave, 4 of us get arrested on June 29th, 2022. And when we get into court, 2 of us get arraigned and 2 of us get dismissed. Guess which 2 were arraigned?
Well, you did.
The 2 that are on the list.
So this is full cycle in this. I mean, this is a great story with Trump. I this is an international story with Trump, and he gets to adjudicate by him being indicted in Washington D.C. He gets to go through all these things. And the funny thing is, you ladies have not had the opportunity to defend yourself over the allegations, or to even have them explain what
to criticize and judge us has not spoken to us in person.
They never do.
They have no interest in getting the other side of the story.
A lot of smearing. We have asked both those guys to actually. I know Catherine been with it twice when we asked both those dweebs to talk to her about what they're talking about. But when you go on TV with John Keller and Bill the Dweeb Forey there is chiming in on what he saw, and we said to him, hey, if you got the videos, let's see it. But going forward now we're here today. Just this.
But then you know what? Too, even the reporters or repeaters, whatever we call them, that have talked to at least me or Shayna or I don't know who else they've talked to. Maybe you. Just talk to like everybody. But they only include the pieces that support their narrative.
It's always a snap.
They don't tell the truth. They make it appear as if they got both sides of the story and they're being truthful when they're not.
And when you confront them, it's great. They run like it's like raid. They run like roaches. They go all over the place. Listen, they have no credibility. That's why we're actually doing this.
Yeah,
we're doing this because this is the only way
we have to be our own media.
We can get out a message. And again, we're going to be buttoning this up. There's a lot to go through. There's another wonderful current event we're going to be going to pretty soon.
Yeah. So today is First Amendment Friday.
First Amendment
because
Friday.
That June 29th, 2022 arrest is still in court.
And you will be,
and we have court today.
And you'll be at West Roxbury District Court on the Arbor Way. Right? Is it on the Arbor Way?
Yes.
And that's we'll start that
so
process.
We'll be there in a couple hours.
And then maybe we'll do a report, a double bonus on Friday. Because free speech, you always want to get it out. But hey, listen, the good news is this. We're out here. It's not perfect. We understand. Every day we try to get lawns going off. We're on a hill. We just lost the camera shot. And then we're back again. And obviously, over the next couple months with Catherine running at Boston City Council at large, again, if you can, spread the word that we're always on the morning show here. The way to contact us, any subjects that you folks would like to talk about, get in touch with us. You can't sit. Hey, listen, this is irritating. Okay, you can't sit in the sidelines anymore. This thing with Trump right yesterday. They're not after him, folks. The First Amendment. Okay, that's what it's all about. Okay, Trump. They come up with these trumped up charges. They go through this process, and again, it's election interference. And this is Catherine's running for office, and this is election interference because they get to smear her without adjudicating what's actually happening. So on a national level, and this is even on a local level, it's election interference in court all the time. Oh, there's a blurb, there's a smear job. Again, all these fakers like WBUR, the Globe, and even the Herald to some extent, they print it, but they have to play it both ways. But all these people are phonies. They've never called Catherine for a direct interview or the other ladies that are involved in this. Shame on you, bunch of cowards. That's why we call you repeaters.
Well, the Herald has called me, and the Herald has been mostly truthful.
Well, that's a start. You got to force them. Hey, so listen, at 7 o'clock, we're going to button this up right now because the number one thing is we got to keep it tight. Number two, we're trying to get the technology. Like we've ran through everything we look at. Weather, I didn't think the lawn was going to go off. We're on a hill, and we try to do the best we can. We know we have a lot of improvement, and we ramble, and we need better scripts. So if you want to help out, instead of sitting on your hands and saying, "Oh, this is bad," or "This is no good," reach out and send us a comment to WuVille.Boston and let us know that if there's something that you want to go, because one of the ladies called in and say, "Hey, put the little banner going across with the call and thing." That was the thank you very much. I got to remember your name. I do apologize because when we're getting going here.
Yeah, and somebody didn't like my sunglasses, but I can't control the sun. Okay.
Yeah. See, the funny thing is, if we go away from the sun, we can't see the screen.
Yeah.
And if we go into the sun, then she has to wear the sunglasses.
I don't want to wear sunglasses.
We actually have to stand sideways ways. Okay, it's amazing how many things you have to check out before you do it, and that's our job. That's an error that we make. We gotta get better at scoping out a place. Come on, folks. You should you go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, the phone number's at the bottom of the screen, 617-915-4009.
Yeah.
If you want to call in, or you can comment.
You can leave a message. I've got 2 messages. That's all.
Yeah,
Leave a
we're
message.
streaming live right now on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And
I'm on Burka Wise. We have a lot of platforms, okay?
yeah, and we have WuVille.Boston for you to contact us. We have vitaliforboston.com if you want to get involved with my campaign. And
The thing about this, and I'll shut up here, is this. We talk about subjects like a couple days ago, we're in the South End talking about drugs. Now, in the paper today in the Herald, it's all about mass and gas. So we're on top of these subjects, whether they come up the same day. We're going to revisit these subjects over and over again in different locations because it's all over the place.
yeah.
So anyways, folks, if you can help us out, pass the word out, we're happy with this. Listen, it's 7:02. We're going to button this up. This is Rob Burke, co-host of Woke and WuVille.Boston. And
Woke and WuVille will be on Monday through Friday, 6:37 a.m. And today we're going to come back for a little bonus after we see what happens in court for
it's going to be
First Amendment Friday.
It's the People's Court. The People's Court live in Boston.
So we'll see you in a couple hours. And thanks for watching.
Hey, this is Rob Burke signing off. Listen, have a great day, okay?